All right.
Welcome back.
We're back. Episode 35.
35.
I don't know what athlete is 35. What's a good athlete for 35?
I got nothing for 35.
I know.
The episode where you can officially run for office as a president. It's the only requirement required nowadays to be a presidential candidate is being 35.
Right.
This podcast can now run for office.
Yeah,
apparently.
the bar has been set so low that now anybody can be president. So...
Jeff's run for office,
Yeah, running for office.
This toaster is running for office.
Tony Klein, running for presidential candidate.
I have a high school background
2025.
in that get up and go gumshoe attitude.
So since the last time that we were on here, we were talking about the Valentine's Day party that we were going to go to, and we're going to fill everybody in on what happened with that.
We're off the market, ladies. Sorry. Found the loves of our life at the Love Lab.
That was as expected. It was an adventure.
It was.
It was great.
That's all it really was supposed to be.
Oh, totally. And I have no expectations going out anytime for whether so to fill anybody in that didn't watch the last episode, which you should have. Tony
Pause now and go back.
Tony had invited myself and a few of our friends to go to this singles mixer on a rooftop of an apartment complex behind a Home Depot. And it was like really cold that night. It was
8th
windy.
Floor balcony, like 100-mile-an-hour winds, 45-degree weather.
Yes.
The recipe for a bunch of hot ladies to come out, right?
Yeah. So we go there. We meet up at a buddy's place first. Actually, we had a couple beers and nice group of guys. You know, really good friends, really nice. So just kind of like we knew going into it, it was going to just be like a guy hang for the most part. And like the side note was like this thing that we had to go to and like whatever. And we get there and like Tony said, super cold, super windy. There's like maybe 10 people out there and everyone's huddled around.
Half
like
of those people were also like staff. So it was like, not only was there like maybe only 3 people there that were like there for the singles mixer, it was like the ones who were there like really needed to find love. Like, there's like an air of desperation on there.
There's definitely a air of desperation and us being part of that desperation. We're like, oh no.
But also too, just because of like the sheer number of people that we rolled up with, we rolled up like 6 dudes deep to like a mixer. You know what I mean? Like you can't go anywhere with like, there's just way too many dudes.
Yeah.
So like the population of the party like doubled with us.
No one's excited seeing like 6 guys get off an elevator.
Yeah.
Like it's always like, everyone's waiting.
Finally the sausage is here.
Yeah. There's never like a deficit of sausage at a party. Yeah. It's always the opposite. So as expected, there was no one there really. And then the funny part that was about it was like, so there's like a DJ and they had like free drinks and like, you tip the bar, but there are free drinks and then they had like a little taco stand. It was great. They had like little gift bags and it was done. It was nice. It was like, someone put thought into it and it was like a thing, and I appreciate the invite to go into that. But on top of it being like a singles mixer, there was also a friend of ours who does sound baths. So if you're not familiar with sound baths, it's like those bowls that are on the ground. Yeah, neither were we. And like you like when you put your finger on a wine glass and makes that noise. It's like that, but like giant ones. And like you kind of be real quiet and everything. So I'm like, it's freezing out. There's a DJ playing music in the background,
Plus it's like really windy. Well lit. So there's like, I feel like a sound bath should be done in like a dim lit room.
Yeah.
Like silence and like, some candles. And then the only noise is the sound bath. But meanwhile, it's like, like winds and stuff like that. Like it's bright neon lights, like as bright as a studio. Just like, yeah, I wore like a stocking hat and I wish I would have brought gloves. Like that's how cold it was. It was 44 degrees. One of our new friends from Michigan was like, oh, I'll be fine. I'm like, I'm from Michigan. This is nothing or whatever. And then he's like, I should have brought a jacket. I should have brought a hat. I'm like, yeah, man, it's cold. It is cold. The Never
desert
underestimate
cold.
how cold it gets in California, man.
Yeah, it'll bite you. So then the sound bath thing, I'm like, how is this sound bath thing gonna work? Then all of a sudden, like the DJ stops, and then it's just like dead silent with like 10 people that are like awkwardly up on this balcony thing, and then like one of our friends got super into the sound bath. I think he was the only one. He's just like
he was bathing.
There.
He was in the bath.
He was bathing it up. He was sitting there just listening to the sound bath, and they had a gong too. So they would like hit this gong, and like it was just like, but as expected, like whenever I get invited by Tony to go to do anything, it's always an adventure. It's never a bad time. It's always just like a goofy, fun experience that like it's something I wouldn't have done if if I just stayed home, help me get out of the house a little bit. Yeah. And it was a good time though. It was fun just hanging out with everybody, just being out and like you're drinking, like, we're all
and the funny thing is the open bar was only like vodka or like liquor. And I'm not,
it was like
neither of us were even
drinks.
like, we're beer guys. That's why I was drinking beer on this podcast. So priming ourselves before we went because the thing ended at 10, and so did the open bar.
Yeah.
So by that time we had, 2-3 drinks in.
Well, I only had like one. Normal people only had one beer at our buddy's house. And then when we get there, it was like hard liquor. And then I'm like, I think the first round of drinks we got was like some fruity drink. It just tastes like sugar. Like I couldn't really taste what it was. And I was like, all right, well, whatever this is. And it's an only cash, cash tips and stuff. So next round of drinks, I'm like, I'll just do tequila. And I did 2 doubles. And I was like, all right, well, I'm only going to drink this and I'm cold. So this will like warm me up. So after the first one, I was like swaying a little bit. I was like, okay.
I forgot you had just straight tequila. Cause like
I took 2 double tequila sodas and that's all I had. And no food because on time, Tony Klein was like, oh, I'll be there. I'll be at your place at 6:30 and then we'll get an Uber. So I'm like, okay. And I was cooking dinner and I'm like, okay, I'll stop cooking dinner right now. You're going to be over in 30 minutes. Hour later, Tony finally shows up. Oh, sorry, I got stuck on the phone, blah, 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 blah. I'm okay.
With my child.
So not only myself, but everybody else that was eating dinner, dude. Rory, his cousin, everybody was like, oh, we didn't eat either because like we were waiting for Tony and he said he's coming over right now. So no one ate. Everyone was on an empty stomach drinking fucking hard liquor, getting super fucked up from that fucking shit.
You're welcome.
All because of you. Yeah. So again, I knew that was going to happen.
What we did was they had
Tony Klein
there.
production.
We had food at the place.
There was.
That, and it was some of the greasiest tacos, the most delicious tacos I ever had. But, I mean, that was basically the appetizer for
more alcohol.
Club, yeah.
But not for food. Cause I was like, oh, there'll be food there and stuff. And then I was like, I'm like, I'm gonna at least like have a couple drinks.
Finicky eater. And it's funny. Because you always
I'm not the most finicky eater.
You are, dude. You don't
no
eat anything.
way.
Eric.
I am the least finicky eater.
You are full of shit.
No, I just didn't want to eat. There's a difference.
No, but what I'm saying is
I was like, I'd rather have a couple drinks.
Okay, I have things I don't like eating, like shellfish, anything like that breathes water. I don't eat, right?
Picky eater.
No, but I will eat anything that's like, apart from that small group of things like crustaceans and stuff, I'll eat it. And I have no problem doing it. I'll even eat that crap if I have to. Me and Rory went to that the concert at the Hollywood Bowl. I hate chicken wings. We went to a bar. That's all they had was chicken wings.
Picky eater.
I ate them. I ate like a.
I know, but you're saying like I would never eat the quesadillas and tacos and stuff. No, I love that stuff. I would eat all of it.
You didn't though. And
I know,
I did
because I was having a drink. I want to have a couple drinks first, and that was the thing.
So that's
your
I had choice to not eat. There was food provided.
There was, and then so I wanted to have a couple
so
drinks.
You're too picky
but
to eat
I would have had, I would have eaten food hours before, and then would have been fine having a couple of drinks, get a little buzz, and then add some food. But it didn't go in that order. So I was like, all right, well now I'm going to have a couple drinks, get my little buzz, and then have food later. So waited till the end of the party, and then all the food was gone except for ceviche. So I had to ask for ceviche nachos, and so I ate ceviche nachos, which is like the least thing you want to eat, or the last thing you want to eat.
Like pico de gallo, basically.
Yeah, like pico de gallo, like really lean meats. I'm like, I want like something to sop up, like a greasy taco or greasy cheese quesadilla, something like that. All that shit was gone, and I'm just like, all right, well, just give me a ceviche taco nacho platter or something. And so I ate that, and that soaked up 0.
Yeah.
And then we went to a bar afterwards.
Cash only bar.
And that had karaoke. We did some karaoke.
Which is very rare. Eric's not a karaoke guy.
Not a karaoke guy. But I had to be drunk, which I was. And, there was nothing else to do. Again, no people at that bar. there was a few people, but it was
it's always about the people you're with, though, because it was
exactly,
a great time with the hang.
That's what I'm saying. It was like it was the guys' night out, and it was just like a fun night hanging out with everybody. So it was like, all right, you're just hanging out.
It was also fun that it was all like walking. We walked from the meetup point at our buddy's place to the event to the bar, and then everyone Ubered directions home.
Yeah. Well, so I stayed at the bar until about 11 o'clock, and that was like, 3 beers at that bar. I'm already like talking to people with one eye closed, and I'm like, all right, I got to go home. And so I left, and then you stayed for like another hour and probably had like 5 more beers because you like drink like a goddamn fish. And so I don't know how you do that. Like you do that more often than I do for sure. Like I was like dying and that's just from like 3-4 beers at the, maybe in entirety for the night and 2 double tequila sodas. And I was like, oh God, I feel like I was just like done.
Yeah, I had I think I had 3 mixed drinks at the singles thing, a beer before we got there, and then I don't even know how many beers I had at the bar. But I do know that the next day I woke up and I felt terrible. Too old for that, man.
Did you eat anything that night?
I had like 6 tacos or something.
No. Like you got to eat like when you're like drunk like that, like you need to have, like I need a whole pizza. Like I need like a whole pizza from insert any name of a place.
Yeah.
And like something like substantial.
Realistically, I could have done without the mixed drinks. That really kind of is what I felt bogged down.
The
next day, because if I drink like 5 or 6 beers, and again, I know that sounds like in the comments, like, hey, have you checked into AA? It's like I'm not talking about like in an hour. I mean like the duration of like a 6-hour night or 5-hour night, or sometimes 4. Like I can drink a 6-pack and be okay the next day, but like those mixed drinks just hit me. And I think I had a shot of Jameson at that bar too. And there's just
really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, dude, I cannot hang like that. Like definitely like beer is like steady. Even if like a couple months ago we went to the Rainbow Room and like we're drinking all night, like it was after one of your shows here and stuff. And I could drink just beer all night long and I'm like fine. I'm not like, getting like, one eye talking to people and shit.
Yeah.
And man, just those shots though, like really just like supercharge everything. It's just
the
like
next day my body radiates heat and stuff. I think I'm allergic to like whiskey or dark liquor or something like that. Cause like, I don't know, man. I just felt warm. My eyes were like bloodshot all day. And it just,
me too. Me too.
I'm gonna go pick my kid up after work.
Again, it's just I really was hedging my bets. It was like, I'll just like walk home. Usually I'll just go to Ralph's, grab some food because the Rock and Roll Ralph's is open till like 1 or something crazy shit and just grab something to like actually sustain me. And then, or going to Burger King. That's another like thing. Going to BK, doing the BK run after a nice long night of boozing. Just do some BK.
It's just so expensive, dude. What blows my mind about like Burger King and like McDonald's is their price point and stuff. So like,
there's no more 99-cent menu.
There's not. And then last week I did a show down in Redondo, and I dropped Alex off at the airport afterwards. So like, we did the show, and on the way to the airport, we stopped by In-N-Out Burger. Bro, In-N-Out Burger is like half the price of McDonald's. I don't understand that. It's
really?
like, yes. It was like both of us got like, I think I got like a regular hamburger meal, another additional hamburger. Alex got like a double meal and stuff. And it was all for like $20 or something. I was like, no coupon codes, no nothing. And it's made like super fresh. And I'm like, if I get my kid and myself like 2 meals from McDonald's, it's like $27. I don't understand that. Like,
yeah. I wish there was like a Little Caesars or something that was close because they have those hot and ready pizzas for like $5. I think they still do those like deals, or like now they're like maybe like $7.99 or something.
Still,
man,
Domino's is always a good one though.
Yeah, Domino's is good. Cinnamon twist.
Kind of fell off Papa John's, man. I don't mess with that anymore.
Yeah, like I can't go with the Papa J's anymore. It's too expensive. And also it has like racist like ownership. So I was like, I'm not going to give money to
He had a lot of good things going for him when he first came out of the gate, man, because like he had like the cool car story, how he like sold his car to get the money to start the business. And
well,
stuff,
he kind of knew by his car he's probably racist. He's driving like a fucking Camaro Z28.
Camaro Z28. That's a cool, I mean, honestly, that body style is growing on me because that was the same car from like 21 Jump Street.
You could have that car and make it like look cool, but he had it like all white trashed out. He had like the big like fucking tires on the back and like it was all like
Pro Street.
Yeah, like what is those what's the brand name of the fucking
Mickey
Thompson's or Hoosiers or something? Yeah, like something like that. Just like all white trash, like flames and shit. It's like yeah, this guy probably says some questionable things when he's not on camera. So yeah, definitely go with Domino's. But to go back to the story of the singles thing, yeah, it was a good night and it was a great time out with hanging with everybody and just kind of kicking it and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Sunday. I feel like it's going to be kind of the same thing.
That's right.
We got a buddy of ours birthday coming up. I don't know how old he is. He's probably fucking turning like 28 or something.
Yeah.
Like everyone, I just feel everybody who says their birthdays are on us is just like.
I always feel like everyone's our age, and then like they tell me, I'm just like, Jesus Christ. They're like,
yeah.
Like,
yeah. I'm like, oh, you're that? Okay. Okay, cool. It's just so weird.
You haven't even like hit like a milestone birthday. Like, oh man, it's my last year, my 20s. I'm like, shit.
Yeah. And then I'm like, aren't you like, don't you feel like kind of weird? You're like, oh, I'm like the old guy in the group. And then I'm like, oh, I'm like a weird guy hanging out.
We're like the old guy everywhere we go.
I know.
Like, I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast before, but like I was at the Barney's Beanery with Laz, right? I talk about this?
Maybe.
Quick story. Barney's Beanery on Santa Monica Boulevard is the original one. It's like the coolest one, the most nostalgic stuff. They have like the original table that like Janis Joplin carved her name in and stuff like that. And it's on the ceiling. There's a lot of cool vintage history like that. Yeah. And if you like, 60s music and stuff, there's just like Jim Morrison and like all that whole crew would hang out there and stuff. So like everyone that died in like the 27 Club is like kicked it there. And it was like me and Laz. We like grab some food there. We want to go up to the Comedy Store. So we like just parked there. We're gonna eat some food and have some drinks and walk up the hill to the store. And like as we were leaving, that Rihanna song Umbrella came on. It's like Ella.
Yeah.
And everybody. First off, I realized quick that like the median age is like 25 maybe. So like we're the only people there with like gray hair. And then when that song came on and everyone started singing in unison, I was like, are we in like a High School Musical right now? Like what the hell is happening? And it's like that generation's like journey, Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah.
Like no one can stop themselves from breaking out a song. It's just like the strongest dude just like Ella. Like everyone, I'm like, okay, well man, this is really dating me. Like but
yeah, man, it's just gonna keep getting worse. It's just gonna be like,
but it's like that because there's these little pockets around town, and LA's such a weird place because there's so many like sceney type spots like that where like, I went there when I was in my 20s and stuff like that, and it's just like rotated to the next class, and it's just like,
well, again, it's
20
like
years ago.
It like going out to bars and doing that stuff. It's like typically younger people because they're not like, locked down and like fucking doing like, wife and kids and marriage, whatever, so it's like, it makes sense that it's always like a young man's game or a young person's game or whatever. But
speaking of which, so this is Valentine's Day number 2 of being single, right? So like after like
congrats.
Thanks. So like a 10-year stretch of like just bleeding out for like a pointless Hallmark holiday. Like last year, I flew to Mexico to shoot that weird movie on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that's right.
I was just like that. My whole Valentine's Day I was just worried about getting like raped or murdered. Like take all my organs stolen in Mexico. And then this year, like I had my son, so I went down to his school, had like a little like Valentine's Day party and stuff like that, and like grabbed him, and then we went to like Cheesecake Factory at the Grove afterwards. And well, I really wanted the Grove because like he likes the trolley there, but like it wasn't working for some reason. So like I was like wah wah wah. But like meanwhile, it's just me and him, and he's got like a little pea coat like mine, so it just like looks like little little tiny version of me with like pea coat and braids and stuff like that. And we're walking around and stuff, and you see all these like people, these little couples and stuff like that, and all like everyone's like booed up, and then there's just like the sad dad and his kid like having like a lonely Valentine's dinner and stuff. I'm like, I actually enjoy this, but it's just kind of like the extra amount of like, oh hey, and I'm like, I wonder what the bio these people are giving, like either like mommy's at work or she's dead. It's just like this widow over here with this child. Yeah,
but I always think like too, like I've had more like alone Valentine's days than I have with anybody.
Yeah, because you're old, statistically speaking.
Well, just like even before, like, I mean, like, not really being in relationships or having that stuff like for the majority of my young adult life. And then only for like a, small period of my like adult life, so it's just kind of, I don't know. Like, it wasn't like, oh God, like people get like so dramatic over it or like, oh, I'm so sad. Or I'm like,
no, it was kind of refreshing to not have anything. It was just like, but there's like it's interesting though, because I have like, the child's eyes to kind of view it through and stuff like that. So like my son, this is like his 4th year on this planet. So like really like this is kind of the first time he's really experienced Valentine's Day, and like not even to like the smallest degree, but like, even cards, and there's like a couple girls in his class that were like his Valentines and whatnot. And just like everyone got cards and stuff. But like if you ask him who his Valentine was, he'll rattle off like 3 girls' names.
There you go. Yeah. I think it's more like like serious when you're younger like that. I remember like just having crushes on like girls when I was in like 3rd, 4th grade and like getting flowers for them and like writing poems and doing all this stuff. And like, you know, totally like I had a crush on one of my babysitters and I like would go over and give her like flowers and like write her stuff and like all that stuff. And it was like, oh, like my heart was like aching, you know, like all that stuff. Like I haven't had that as an adult.
Feel all the feels, man.
Yeah. Like you like really get it into like the, you know, the holiday, you know, so to speak, where out here, I don't know.
It just kind of makes you laser focus on like love for like one day, and you're just kind of like, And then when you're so young, you don't even know what that means. You're like, I don't know. I got butterflies in my stomach when I'm in your presence and stuff, and like, you know, certain smells and stuff. It's funny because like, I don't know that like this generation has the same like access to like that. Where I remember like girls that were like in elementary school that I had crushes on, or little like, you know, girlfriends of the week or whatever it was. They all wore like this perfume called like Vanilla Fields, right? And like it's a very vanilla smell. You get it at a Kmart, like you know, like a kid would buy stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then like all the guys wore like Cool Water.
I was gonna say Cool Water cologne. That was like the jam back in the day.
That stuff, yeah. And it was like, then there's the Lady Cool Water too, Cool Water for women. But like those smells will bring you right back to like 5th grade. If I smell them, I catch it in the air, I'm like, oh, like, you know, that feeling. But like, yeah, man, just like, you know, the, you know, girl gives you a card and it's got her smell of her perfume on there. And like, just all those like stupid things that you like, again, in hindsight, it's so like minimal, but like when you're a kid, it's like the biggest thing ever. It's like, dude, Jenny gave me a card and it smells like her. Like, I think we're in love. And then like the next week, it's like, you're not like talking anymore and stuff like that. And like,
yeah, that stuff's like fun. Like when you're that age and, you know, have those like butterfly feelings and like you get like kind of nervous and stuff like that stuff's cool. Like I'd like to have that again at some point in time, but it's harder. I think when the older you get, like those butterflies get smaller and smaller. It's like harder to get that kind of feeling. You're just like so like jaded or just like whatever. This is not going anywhere. This is bullshit. Well,
you get a little more aware of the red flags the older you get. I think. Yeah. Sometimes if you got the rose-colored lenses on, you really can't see the red flags. You're like, that looks like a white flag. You take them off, like, oh shit, there's red flags everywhere. It's like, danger imminent. Like, how did I not notice this?
Yeah. Nah, it's definitely true. Definitely true.
But the downside, man, is like, as much as I drink and smoke weed, I still have like this outstanding like elephant memory where like I can just remember way too much stuff, and it's like a blessing and a curse because like you know, the sentimental things are helpful, but also can be like, you know, burdening where you're just like, I wish I could just forget that and stuff. But like, it's nice when you have those like things, and especially when it comes to like, you know, like the things that like are going to be in my life forever, like my kid, like child experiences with my child, stuff like that I can hold on to. Past relationships, I'm like, delete, hard delete. Like, and it's just like, it's tough to, you know, kind of shake that stuff. And every once in a while, someone kind of comes around, you're like, and then there's like and it's funny because like, even like dealing with like, you know, short-term relationships in the past. You've had this too, where you have like a girl you kind of date for a little bit, and then you guys kind of like fizzle out, and then you run into each other again, like, man, why did I stop hanging out with this chick? Yeah. And you hang out and you're like, oh, that's why. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Or sometimes there's like a course correction where like, oh, this chick's actually pretty cool. Like, you know, but then just bad time or whatever it is. But I don't know, man. Being single is like a very liberating thing.
Yeah. I think being alone is probably the best.
Dude, it's like the most self-work you can do is actually just kind of like, take a second, look in the mirror, calibrate, see where, if you're like, you know, what works, what didn't, and why, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, move forward. I think that's what everyone should do. I know, like, you know, way too many people, my family in particular, just like jump into relationship after relationship and just like in a serial date and just like, hey, just take a second, you know, do a little damage control, and then, you know.
Yeah, those like times alone, I think, are important and allow you to grow and like really understand like where you are and like what you want and all that kind of stuff. And then like relationships can be also like a learning tool as well. Like you're like, oh, like, wow, this is like, you know, these are characteristics or things that I really do enjoy in a person. But again, if you're looking at like, I always like look down the road, like, you know, too far probably.
You do.
And it's something that like kind of hinders me as far as like being able to go out and meet new people and kind of put myself out there. But then I always am like the pessimist. I'm like, but like they're into this thing and not this. And like, you kind of have in your head, like an ideal, like I want them to be in like backpacking and hiking and fishing and camping and like all this stuff. And like that person has to exist. There's billions of people that live on the planet. So like why, like that person has to be out there, like, so it's just kind of like that what if and or what else, I guess you could say. And if not having like the characteristics or the things that you enjoy yourself aren't in that other person, you're kind of like, well, then I know that I like that, so I'll just do it by myself. It's just like, all right, well, then it's just like saves everyone the time. Like I'm not going to try to like force anybody to do or live a certain lifestyle or get into shit. It's just like, it'd be so much easier to find somebody that's like into the same things and have the same like kind of like path,
well,
like you're running the same, like finding someone to run in the same direction other than someone that's like going in the opposite direction. You're like, yeah, but you should go this way, and like trying to like get them. It's just like, like the older I get, the more I'm just like, nah, yeah, but like, I, may understand certain things, but at the same time, it's like, there's other aspects of your life that are like completely opposite of what my goal is, So it's like, I think understanding that is one of the things that like it's hard for people to kind of understand for themselves, like what you really want and what you're looking for. And if you don't get that, that's fine. It's not like the end of the world. It's just like, but at least what you want.
Yeah.
You have to try to like mold somebody into something that they're not and whatever. But
yeah. Relationships.
That's the Valentine's Day rant. So just stay single out there, everyone.
Don't waste your time. Don't buy into the Hallmark holiday.
Yeah. I always think every time I go to the grocery store and it's like, they have like any seasonal like holiday, I'm always like, all I think of, I'm like, this shit's going to be fucking like 90% off tomorrow. Yeah. That's all I think. That's how my brain works. I'm like, this is such horse shit. I'm like, all this shit, they're going to be like giving this shit away tomorrow. Like right now it's all jacked up like to the most expensive. And like tomorrow they're going to be like, you guys want this? We can't sell this shit. It's not Valentine's Day. It's not Halloween. It's not Christmas. It's not Thanksgiving. Like we just need to unload this shit. Sell it now.
Christmas decorations are the best thing to buy like after Christmas because like it's super cheap and stuff. Like that's like
everything.
Yeah.
Any holiday that there is, just buy it like the day
but I know, but like I really don't
after.
feel like you decorate for like Valentine's Day or most things, but like the thing like again, being the fact that like my mom really went hard in the paint for like Christmas and stuff like that, and that's something I'm trying to bring into like with my kid. Like this year, like man, I spent a bunch of money on like a tree and all that kind of stuff just to kind of really set the scene for like.
You got the fake tree, not the real
tree. Yeah.
Are you going to do the real tree?
No, man. Not after the last time we got the real tree at the apartment.
That was like 12 years ago.
I'm still allergic to Christmas trees though, dude.
Did you get that shit when you were back home when you were like living with your parents?
I was always sick around the holidays. I'm like, I had an itchy throat, and like I just assumed it was like a seasonal sickness and stuff. But it was the last time we got a Christmas tree. Daisy went with us. She actually was talking to me about that. Shout out to Daisy. About like the tree because like we went to get it from Home Depot. Remember that we had the first one? It was like an average size tree, and then the next year we're like, no, we want a fucking bigger tree. So we got a.
She came with us to Home Depot.
Home Depot, yeah.
Oh,
it was like Jason, Hayden, me, you, Daisy, probably a couple other dudes, and then we got the tree that was like it was like scraping the ceiling, and like Thomas made a star for it and stuff, and like we decorated it, and then like I think you were dating another chick at the time. And then you went to her house. So we did like a friend's Christmas on Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, I was like solo at my place. I was single. And I was talking to my dad because we just reestablished contact like that year. So like, I'm like, this is back when like before Zoom. So I was like, what the hell's the other one? Skype. I was Skyping my dad, dude. And I was like smoking cigarettes on the balcony with my dad, which is a trip because like there's the little picture in Skype, So it looks like I see me and I see like what I look like in the future. Just like older and more weathered and stuff like that. Like, and then, I was talking to him while I was taking the Christmas tree down, and I'm deep in there grabbing like ornaments and lights and stuff, and I just break out in hives like everywhere.
Really?
I'm like, oh, fuck this. So I threw and I had my headphones in when I was talking to my dad, so like I'd throw the tree off our balcony, right? And I looked up, and across the way there was like a couple having like a romantic like Christmas brunch, and I'm just like, bah humbug, get this fucking thing out of here. Yeah. But that was the last real tree I had. I think we might have had one at like the in-laws' house a couple times, but like I just get like a tickly throat, man. It's just like, and then I don't know, the convenience of having a fake tree. It looks nice. It's already pre-lit. Yeah, you could just kind of just jam.
My grandfather was big on fake tree. He had his fake tree for years, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
You didn't have to deal with any of the needles, all the fucking like, oh, we gotta put water in it, and like all the shit. And it's like,
you remember the dog drinking the water because there's like tree food.
Yeah, there's like anti-freeze or whatever the fuck is in there. Exactly. It's like basically like poison.
Yeah, like, I lost another dog.
We didn't have dogs, but they were like, don't drink it, Eric. Yeah. It's like blue Kool-Aid. Drink all the Kool-Aid out of the tree again.
Eric's acting funny. Did you drink the Kool-Aid? Drink the tree Kool-Aid again?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Speaking of kids, so I was telling you before the podcast, so like now we're in like the Lego phase. Like I bought Anthony some Legos and stuff for Christmas, and then we started putting them together and stuff. And that's a cool thing, just seeing him like, you know, build them and whatnot. But then like we built this like you know, Legos the other day, and then I got out of the shower and Anthony goes, "Daddy, you got some dents in your stomach." I'm like, "Those aren't dents, those are abs." And he's like, "Oh, like Lego Batman?" I'm like, "Yeah, like Lego Batman."
Yeah.
And the best thing about that is like in the beginning of Lego Batman, he's talking about, I got 9 abs. I just have an additional ab and stuff like that. I'm like, I only got that many abs. But it was just kind of nice that like my son realized like his dad's like a low-key superhero and shit.
Yeah, and Lego Batman is the best Batman.
Yeah.
By far.
I've always
we were talking about that.
Related to Batman as far as superheroes because he's just a guy with cool gadgets and like, you know, a dope ass car.
Yeah, we were talking about the Batman, you know, I don't know, timeline and all the people that played Batman, and the guy who voices Lego Batman, Will Arnett. Yeah, he has a podcast, but it's called Smartless. Yeah. It's really, really good too. By far the best Batman. Like he just mocks and makes fun of like all the other Batmans, and that's what makes it like the best Batman. Yeah. Like even his voice is like he's like super like Batman, you know, like he does all that stuff. He's just hilarious. So your son compared you to the best Batman character ever.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
Some
Batman drives a Batmobile. I drive an Oldsmobile. You know, same person. Because of that, I'm Olds man.
Olds man.
Olds man.
I'm old man.
Dude, I'll never forget the time when we were living in the apartment and there's like that little young Russian kid. And he's like, "Oh, I love your antique car." And I was like, "It's a classic, but you can call it antique." I guess it's antique at this point. I mean, what is it like going to be 50 some years old? Is it 57 years old?
I had somebody do that too to me. It was a kid and his dad, and they were walking in the parking lot of the apartment, and they're like, "Oh, is there a dead body in that?"
That's hilarious.
In that car? And my truck, just to let the audience know, it's just an all black truck with a camper shell in the back. So it looks kind of like a hearse. And so the kid was like, "Oh, is someone dead in there?" And I overheard it. They weren't like talking to me directly.
Yes, again, you will be.
Yeah. Then didn't know like that I was even the owner of it, but I just like heard it and I was like an earshot away and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty fucking funny." That's like hilarious. It's like a hearse fucking car. Like I'm like the weirdo has like a hearse mobile or something. You know, like he's the guy with the creepy fucking hearse car.
Of, dead bodies. So, you know, I'm a sucker for true crime shows, right?
Yeah. What happened?
I was like,
what'd you watch now?
Okay, so last night when I was, you know, loading up Lego Batman for the kid, I saw like a trailer for a show on HBO Max, or like a movie about like
dead bodies.
About dead body, yeah. And it's called like his name was Mostly Harmless, right? And I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And it was about like this crazy John Doe. That
like, don't mind if I do.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, I can't watch this right now because the kids are awake. But like, I turn it on, right? So it's like about this. Somebody finds a dead body in a tent in like the swamps in the Everglades down in like Florida, right? And like, it's like a weird little yellow tent, and the guy, like this hiker peeks in, and he like sees like a dead body in there, and it's like super skinny and just like you know. Okay, so they call the cops up. The cops come. There's no identification there. The guy had like food. He had cash. It wasn't like some kind of like, you know, crazy squatter or something like that. Just like someone that was like, you know, had, you know, the necessities and stuff, but like just died. So like they didn't. And then he was like too far gone. Plus the guy was like 5'8" and he only weighed 85 pounds. So he was like extremely skinny, like
starved,
to like
death.
Malnourished and stuff, which is basically what they determined. Like he starved off and stuff, but like. they like no one could identify the guy because his hiker name was Mostly Harmless. So like the legend goes, because there's like 100 people that have crossed this guy on paths going all the way from New York down to Florida. He was just on hiking trails and stuff like that, going to the Appalachians and whatnot. So he's like, so like once they kind of like this woman who lives in Florida found out about him because they basically the local cops like took like a picture of his dead body and then kind of dialed it up a little bit so it didn't look so dead. And it's just like this like super creepy like mugshot.
They showed it?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
my
like, it was
God.
like, not like dead, but they kind of made it look like he wasn't so dead, but it was like definitely a dead person.
So
You know what I mean?
Weekend at Bernie's him?
Yeah. He almost kind of looked like, Christopher McCandless from like Into the Wild, that super grizzly beard and like that real like skinny, like just looks like
Gaunt.
Shit ain't going good, right? Type thing. Like that gaunt look. Yeah.
Gaunt. That's it.
Yeah.
Making up words.
Gong. Yeah. That like, but he had like, anyway, so like this goes out and this lady's like, I met him. That's his name is like Mostly Harmless. Like, so she, that was what he said, when they met and stuff like that. And like how he got the name was like, he was, walking up on like a campfire, like on the hiking trail. And everyone's like there was like a rustle in the bushes and this guy kind of comes out and they're like, are you okay? Like they said something like, you're not going to hurt us. It's like, nah, I'm Mostly Harmless. And then they're like, that's a good name. So now he's like Mostly Harmless, right? So that's like, what the origin story is of his name, right? So they go through all this stuff. Like there's like numerous, like, these like internet sleuth groups trying to find out what this guy's identity is. And then they finally like, there's some linchpin and they do like, there's like this company that's really good in like breaking down like genetic codes, and they could find out where, like through his genealogy, where he probably was born.
Yeah.
So it ends up like, because there was like, he said he's from New York, he said from Brooklyn, he said he's from the Bronx, he said he's from Louisiana, all these like places. And it's just like, why is this guy such an enigma, right? Like, why is he trying so hard to just disappear? Because not only did you have like 100 different hikers that couldn't identify him, apart from his little nickname, there was like no give-ins to like what his real name was. And then you couple that with like, now you have like thousands of internet sleuths that like can't figure out who you are. And then this guy from like the magazine Wired, which is like an IT magazine, like heard about it because they thought he might be in the IT world. So this guy writes this like articles. This is during 2020, during COVID. That like,
oh really? So it's like recent.
Yeah, recent, but like he'd gone missing in like 2017 or so. They found him in like 2017. So it's like it took a couple of years for that to get some traction. The guy writes an article. The article goes like viral. There's like millions of people that start following this, and like they're like, the cops like, it's like usually you think out of 100 people, someone would know his name or way to track him. Then you get 1,000 people actively trying to find him on Facebook. No one can find him. And now you have millions of people that like, are in this industry of like tech, and no one's worked with this guy. So like, what's the deal, right? So they ended up like do like a crowdfunding. They got some money to hire this like, DNA genealogy company. They figure out where he might be from. And then the second they like zone in on Louisiana, like they just hit every group, and eventually someone's like, I know that guy. And they get his identity and stuff. And then like, so because like, they're all like, did he accidentally die? And then it turns out like everyone's kind of feeling for this guy. The people that like met him on the trail, like, oh man, it sucks. Mostly Harmless dead and shit. Yeah. And then like, it turns out like the guy's actually kind of a piece of shit. Like he's an abusive, like to all of his girlfriends. Like he's got this kind of story of like a lot of, crazy shit. And like the lady, one of the first ones to get on the case, like got access to the autopsy pictures and stuff. And there was like this giant scar on his abdomen. So she was trying to figure out local doctors, like if he had some major surgery and shit. And it turns out the guy was like, when he was like in his teens, tried to kill himself. He like shot himself in the stomach in like a field, and then regretted it and like crawled out and stuff. So like just for the entirety of his life had like, real social issues and stuff. And then when he was dead, he was like 41 at the time he died. So our age, but
that's crazy.
But yeah, so it's super crazy because like I was like, I literally watched it. I'm like, I'm good on true crime again for a while. That's just like a too dark of a story, and it's just like it was kind of intriguing because you're like, oh, what's this light, kind of
there's
light death story.
A YouTube channel that I watch sometimes, and it's this guy it's a young kid that does stories like that. But it's all about like backpacking and hiking, and people that get like murdered in the woods or like had gone hikes and like never found, and like
struck
stuff
by
like
lightning
that.
Or sleepwalk off a cliff.
Yeah, crazy. There's this one. He had a story about this like father-daughter that went like backpacking, and I forget what area of the country, but they were like bear, and this bear like corners him and his daughter and like attacks both of them. They both like fall off this ridge. And then like the bear is still like coming after them and like his legs are like broken. She's like half dead. And the bear's like fucking like fucking killing them and stuff. And they both lived. It was like the craziest fucking story. And like, they're both fucked up from it, but like, on like no food. Like they were like left there for like dead for like 2 days until people actually came to find them. But they were like all fucked up from this bear attack. Just, it's a great channel. I have to find out the name of it, but like, just look up like, backpacking horror story YouTube guy or something. I'm sure it'll pop up. Like do your own research.
Yeah, dude, I don't know, man. That's like,
did you ever see about that like that one like forest in like it's like Japan or it's like some Asian country?
Mount Fiji.
Where like people like
Fiji's the water, or Fuji's the water. Mount Fuji is where people go to commit suicide.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
And then they like leave like a ribbon to where they're gonna like, kill themselves and shit. Like
that shit's fucking nuts. Like I think that'd be like the craziest place. Like they had that one Jake Paul kid or one of those guys.
Yeah.
We used to wait on that kid fucking all the time. One of our jobs in this town. And then I remember like that like came like he like live streamed it and like live streamed like dead bodies like hanging from trees and shit. I'm like, that'd be the most horrifying like place to go.
I would never want to see that, dude. That's the thing. Is like, it's just like shit like that. Like things that like you don't have to live through. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to see dead people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to see the inside of a jail cell. Like that's just like there's certain things that like,
but you say that though, and at the same time, like whenever there's a car accident or something, everyone's looky-looing and looking and
nah, dude, I learned my lesson after that time we got stuck in traffic. We saw that like half a body. Remember
that shit was fucking bleh. I remember just like driving to work through like the rest of the trip and just being like silent, just being like, what the fuck
whole fucking day
did we see at like 7 o'clock in the morning driving to our office job?
Just like,
oh my God, that was
boot.
like, and you're like, it was horrible.
The worst thing about it was like it was a overturned Ford Explorer. Like landed on its roof, right? So I don't know, it rolled. There's like stuffed animals on the freeway and stuff, and like I don't think the kid died, but I think from what I imagined, and I don't really know because
we have no idea.
The dude that was driving got ripped in half, and like because there was like that team of like emergency personnel like trying to like, hey, is there anything else we can do to make you comfortable before you die? Like type shit, like just like you're done, dude. Like just
they were just like I just remember like it looked like someone took like 5-gallon buckets of red paint and just like splashed it all over the side of the freeway. And we were going to work on one side of the freeway and there's like that divider. And then the other side, traffic's going the other way. And that's where the accident was. And so we got like close to it, like too close. Yeah. We're like, cause it was
we're
like
in the fast lane. We're like right on the median.
Yeah. So like you're like literally like
so we could see over the ledge,
like 50 feet from like where all the cops and the fire department are trying to like scramble to get this guy out. And then we're like, see a blanket and it's over like there's like a jeans and like a work boot that are sticking out of it. Yeah. I'm like, well, that's too small to be.
It was like not covered by the blanket, so you can see like the bottom of the treads of it, and then you just see like blood dripping down, and it's like Jesus fucking.
You're like, that's
Christ.
too small to be his whole body. I'm like, oh, that's his leg. Yeah. Like that's his leg that is like tarped over, and like he's in there still, and we're just like. Flush white, like what in the fuck?
Yeah,
it was like
didn't eat anything that day. Just
just like, hey, you got that report done? I'm like, what? Like
going to work's dangerous. Like,
yeah. Just want to nerf myself like for the rest of that day. I was just like, I just want to like stay inside, put pills around me, not be anywhere dangerous, like all that shit.
And then like seconds later, you see someone on a motorcycle driving like an asshole. You're just like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like,
dude, that was think that family is probably like. Whether that guy lived or died, I'm assuming he died because his leg was ripped off his fucking body.
It was his bottom half.
Like that, like family probably has the other half of that story and like knows more information of like what happened. And like, you know, like that's like a moment in their life where they're like, that changed their lives forever.
For sure.
You know? Like it changed our lives and we didn't even know anybody specifically involved
Just
in
so
it.
You know, condolences to the family.
Yeah. My heart goes out to you. That shit's crazy. I couldn't imagine that. And if there was any kids involved and like, Oh man, it could like the thing is like the craziest thing is we don't know anything else about it. All we know is like what we saw and like the evidence of like the stuff that was scattered and like we don't know like there could have been like a whole car full of fucking people.
I think we tried looking it up at work, but there's like so many deaths on the freeway on the 101 that like it just was lost in that, and it was so new that nothing was really published yet.
Yeah, that was like before like Citizen App and like all that kind of shit where it's like unless it's on the local news, like you're not gonna really hear anything about it. It's just one of those things. But yeah, crazy fucking shit, man.
Citizen App, man, it's like just reminds you how shady this whole town is and stuff. Yeah.
If you want to be terrified about your own town, no matter where you live, just download the old Citizen App. It has come in handy a couple of times. There was like one time where there's like helicopters flying around my neighborhood like a bunch, and they're like, "Stay in your apartment, don't come out, you'll die." Like all this crazy shit. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Unless you want to die, go. Stay in your apartment.
And then they said it in Spanish too, and then it was like, "There's a man with a weapon," and like I was like, "What in the fuck?" It's like crazy.
Yeah,
that's living in a city though. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I'd take the city living over like the suburb living any day though. Like,
because I don't think you get that back in the burbs. You find out about it like after you've already been like, hey, who's that? What's that guy doing? Hey, sir, how you doing there? How you doing, mister? It's like, get fucking shot up. It's just all crazy.
Yeah, walking up. I don't know. World's a crazy place, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's what else I had in my notes here.
What you got in your little notes there, Tony? What do you want to tell these?
Yeah, man. I just because I went to the gym today, and it's just like
again. Did you learn from the last podcast?
Why do you think I got these dents in my stomach, buddy? No, I just like it's a
Craig
good,
have a hernia.
Release. Yeah.
He's like, that's supposed to be like that.
No, it's normal that like you can see my heartbeat through my stomach.
Yeah, like a giant.
No,
bulge.
I was at the gym, dude. And I was using like this machine, right? And like someone does like hey, you done with that? And I was done with it. And I was starting to re-rack the weights, right? And the guy just kind of stands there, like people are just kind of like standing too close and just kind of like, all right, fucking back off. Like it's gonna be your machine in a second. Like what are you doing? Like why are you so close? Like you got it, right? And I take all the weights off, right? I'm like waiting for the guy to be like, no, you can leave those on because you're going to use it. So like, how low do you want to go? I had like 2 plates on each side. I take them off and stuff like that. And then I'm like, I grab another machine and then I, rack my weights on the new one. And then I see the guy literally put the same weights I just put on back on. I'm like, what the fuck? What are we doing here? Like, what was this? Because like, you could just let me leave them on there. But did you watch me to do it so you make sure like, yeah, that's right. Re-rack those weights. Like, I don't get it.
In all defense for him, he probably just didn't want to talk to you. He's probably just like, I don't fucking want to talk to anybody here. I just let this guy do his fucking own thing, the second and I'll just do my thing.
I literally like just did the thing that I usually do. I just like tunnel vision out and I just look at like my feet and my form, and that's it. I ain't trying to make any eye contact with anybody, doing anything there. It's just like there's too much weird shit going on at the gym.
I know.
And it's funny, dude, because like there's a lot of these like crusty dudes that were like been there since we used to go there, and like we used to be the young 20 somethings at the gym and stuff like that. Now like I'm old, I got gray hair and shit, and like but there was guys that were like our age.
Yeah,
when we
like those two dudes, those two buddies,
they're still there.
Oh,
but
really?
There's other guys like
you
that too.
You seen those guys?
Yeah.
They're still there.
Yeah.
Man, they must be like super old.
Yeah,
they were like
they're retired.
That'd be crazy. They're like all like fucking crazy white hair, like super old looking. Because they were like probably our age when we started going there. We were 24. They were probably like 41 when so that same thing.
Yeah.
What are they like fucking in their 60s now?
Probably like them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But then there's a couple of guys that like that are there. But like there's funny because there's always the guys that kind of suspected were on roids and shit. But like that's like such a thing.
I don't know if anybody ever.
Dude, I've never touched that shit. It's just all natural. It's like, yeah, you seem a little aggro of me, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you can definitely tell they're still on steroids because they're still like completely yoked. But then also they got like face fillers and like all this kind of crazy shit where you're like, okay, you can't tell me those muscles are natural when your face is not natural. You know what I mean? You're all fucked up. You're just a big
there's definitely like a lot of steroid use in this town. Like this is like a fact. Like I mean, when I moved out here, the biggest, strongest people I've ever seen in my life were gay men that were walking around Hollywood or at the gym, like jacked out of their minds. And I'm like, it's just from not that you have to know what you're doing and have to put work in, but there is a certain physique that you get when you use steroids, and that's the just jacked and super like, you know, when you work out and you get kind of swole up, you know, and you see like you're like very vascular.
Obviously, I know that, Eric.
Right. So like when you're on steroids, like you look like that like all the time. Like it's always like being like you have like a pump, right? Yeah. So that's like what a lot of people like. That's a tell for me when I see somebody that's always like you know, they're like their skin is very tight and they're like kind of look like they just like worked out, but they're like
shrinking.
Yeah, like but they're not natural. Very lean.
They have a long neck.
You know, if you're lean and like bulky and like very like swole looking all the time, especially out here, chances are you're on steroids
and the juice.
Yeah,
or Nugenics or some kind of HGH type thing.
And that shit fucks with like your like nose size. Like your nose can grow, and like you have like your face will change, like your jawline, your nose, like all that stuff. So it's like
Barry Bonds, man. Barry Bonds wears like a size 10 hat now. Stuff like from his giant head, like a bobblehead from all the steroids he did and shit.
That's the thing about like steroids. Like people think like, oh yeah, I just like got to take some steroids and I'll get jacked. It's like, no, you still have to like work out really hard, and it's like really hard to like look even like those people do. But at the same time, it's something that you can't just like take once and then stop. Like it affects your testosterone like forever. Yeah. It's like supplementing your testosterone and like fucking up your body's like chemistry and saying like, we don't need to produce this shit anymore because we're getting it from something else. We don't know where it's from, but like cut that shit off. Yeah. So when you get off of it, then like, it's just like crazy. So like, I don't know. I think the risk versus reward is like ridiculous, where it's like everyone's so like vain out here and wants to like, you know, look a certain way and stuff. It's like, yeah, but like you're gonna have to like be on that shit for the rest of your fucking life in order to like sustain like a normal like life and physique. And then also it has like lots of problems with your heart. It can affect all that stuff too.
Like the Stallones and Schwarzeneggers that like have been on like juice their entire like life, like,
oh yeah, those guys are all on like a form of testosterone, not taking the kind of like loads that they were, you know, taking when they were like full bodybuilders and shit, but like they have to be on some kind of a supplement to like just like live, to not like basically like turn into women because they're not generating their own testosterone.
That's crazy.
So it's like, I mean, I don't know. It's not like, I think natural is the best way to go. Even if you're not looking like the people we're describing, it's like, you're still going to live longer than most people that are taking a supplement like that or taking steroids.
Yeah.
Like bodybuilders and stuff have like some of the shortest life expectancies of like athletes. Like, it's like it's funny because it's a contradictory of like, you know, oh, like they're the most in shape people, but they're like the most unhealthiest people that, like when you see like a bodybuilder on stage, that is like,
they're super dehydrated.
They're the most unhealthy person like you could possibly like find. Like compared to like an average person, they're like more likely to die than like a regular guy that just like doesn't work out. Like they're like, it's like such a weird, you know,
that's hilarious
contradiction of what you look like to actually what your body's going through. So yeah, I think, you know, just like
pre-workout,
staying healthy and just like eating good food and, you know, just doing normal stuff. I think like that's probably the best bet for most people, you know, just have an active lifestyle. Like don't try to like do all this crazy fucking like steroids and pills and potions. Just like do normal stuff. Keep your, the saying, you know, move it or use it or lose it. Right. Yeah. You know, it's just simple as that.
Well, that's the thing, man. I wish I wouldn't have like quit running after I quit smoking cigarettes. Cause like, just because I had a consistent regimen of like doing running or just kind of some kind of like impact on my knees. Once I stopped that, my knees were like, we suck. And I just like, you know, I've had more knee problems when I stopped running after quitting smoking. Cause I, you know, would, you know, fucking at least do like the treadmill. I do like 3 miles a day to keep the cancer away for years, for the 19 years that I smoked. And I haven't smoked in like, since I was 30. Before I turned 30, I quit smoking.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like 12 years this November. Pat myself on the back. Which is also fucking crazy. Time fucking moves, dude.
I wonder what these things are going to do. I'm probably going to have like a fucking tumor or some shit from these things.
I mean, you got to worry about e-cigarettes, your cell phone. Like, no one really checked this shit. Mine's on my crotch right now. Probably fucking like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, there's so much shit. Like, my dad got a fucking tumor in his throat. He was early on cell phones and like, they thought it was from a cell phone and shit. So like,
My grandma had throat cancer and she never smoked a day in her life. She
Always
never
had
even
a cell phone though.
never had a cell phone. Never nothing. Like it was like, so like, you know, I don't know. Best you can do is just like stay active, try to live a healthy lifestyle and all that stuff. You know, like most people just don't know the basic things to do, which is the hardest part about like just living a basic like healthy lifestyle, because so much media and commercials and everything tells you things that contradict what actually like keto and I gotta fast and I gotta do all this other crazy. It's like, no, just like your calories in versus your calories out.
Yeah.
If you're eating more calories than what you burn off, you'll get fat. If you're burning off more calories than what you consume, you lose weight. It's simple as that. Like it's as simple as that. It's like there's all these markets and all these things that have like been created to like generate money, which are doing an amazing job, so much to the point where like, you know, America has an obesity problem and you're trying to like teach and relearn these things that have been like embedded in your brain since you were a kid. Like, you know, oh, just eat your vegetables and like meat and potatoes and like, and all these things. It's like, but it's even simpler than that. It's like, you know, but to try to relearn those things or even educate people about it, there's so much misinformation and wrong information about what to do to actually change your body and to live a healthy lifestyle that I understand how it can be like extremely frustrating and hard and like challenging for a lot of people to do those things and make those changes. Like, oh, it's so tough, so difficult. Like my father is somebody that I've put on, you know, like a, not a diet, but a lifestyle change of like, hey, this is like the fundamentals of what you need to do. Like basically saying like, you know, like calories in versus calories out, you know, and like, and even him, I hear his struggles with it. Oh, it's so hard. It's like, well, it's not. If you just like, there's nothing that's off limits. There's nothing like bread isn't bad. Like candy isn't bad. Like it's the quantity quantity of those things that you're eating that's bad, and the lack of movement that is bad. So if you just sit on a couch all day and you eat fucking water and soup, whatever, you'll still, you know, gain weight if you're eating more calories than you're burning off, if you're not burning off anything, you know? So it's like, there's like, just it's so frustrating to try to educate people in my family about those simple basic things that.
Well, I think because of the fact that like just from our day job and our active lifestyles anyways, like you and I are kind of above or ahead of the curve there, where it's like we're already putting it like burning off just an X amount of calories a day, just living life, right? And then if you actually can kind of like curtail your diet to that, then you're kind of like, you know, you're doing work like hand over fist. You're ahead of the game. Cause like I told you, I have like the Apple Watch, and then like I synced up my like fitness app with like another buddy of ours. Yeah. And like after that, like it'll automatically, anytime I get like a progress ring, it'll send it to him too. Right.
That's so like one up.
Yeah. It's like I'm not even really trying to like be braggadocious and shit, but he's always like, bro, fucking go. Like it was like another perfect week of stand, and all these like these stats are like, I see them as on my day to day, and that's just how it works anyways. But now he's seeing them stuff, and like, I don't think he's as active as like he once was, or, you know, or as I am and stuff. And like, nothing against him, but they're just kind of like, it's just funny to get and hearing his feedback from that. I'm like, this is just fucking like how I live life, man. If I go work, you know, I'm going to put X amount of miles in, walk around work, then I go walk the dog for like a mile after that. Like I'm going to like, you know, just keep knocking out these like, you know, circles and shit. But
again, like working in the like service industry where we're constantly walking basically like for 8 hours a day, like we're walking in like
impact cardio,
like a circle, basically just constantly walking for 8 hours. So like I always tell people, I'm like, if you just like woke up on your day off and just walked for 8 hours, just anywhere, walk up a hill, down a hill, straight on a flat ground, whatever, just do that for 8 hours. And then that's the amount of steps that I walk in a normal work day. Yeah. And then I'll go home and I'll do some weight training and stuff like that. And then on top of that, I'm aware of what I'm putting in my body and what I'm eating and the calories and all that things, make sure I get enough protein in my diet so I don't like wither away and have like atrophy and all that kind of shit. So it's those kinds of things too that really like benefit your health and your well-being, that fortunately our job we're getting paid to like work out. I always tell that like to customers and stuff. I'm like, I'm getting paid to like get my steps in today. And on an average like work day, it's anywhere from like 17,000 to like 20,000 steps, you know, which is miles of walking, you know, that I'm just doing as my job. You know, I'll also walk to work and walk home from work. So those are things that add to it as well. But like little tweaks like that, if I wasn't working, like when we worked in the office, we worked in an office job. We had a sedentary job where we sat down. Like we were definitely larger than we are now.
Oh yeah, because also too at the time we were just eating like zingers and fucking like Little Caesars and all the good shit.
Yeah, didn't really have an understanding of what we were like, you know. I mean, we knew it was bad, but I still didn't have.
We weren't drinking at the time. It was like a weird like that was the vices, like just like shit food, and then like, you know, powerlifting and stuff at the gym, and like, you know, I do feel like I was definitely bigger. Actually, I weighed myself. I'm like 158.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm like 164 right now.
Okay.
You're 158?
Yeah.
Damn, you're really low. Yeah. I think the most we were both was like 180, 190 or something when we moved out here.
Yeah. No, but I was the most we weighed.
Yeah. Well, the most I ever weighed was 220.
No, I don't know how much. When we were taking those crazy like supplements, the most I weighed was like 195. I was like big. That's the point where my knees hurt having that like extra weight on and shit. Yeah. Like too heavy, too much muscle, too much mass.
Just too big, bro.
People say, you know, too big, Tony. Yeah.
So the moral of this podcast is stay single, don't go to the gym, live an active lifestyle, and you know,
if you do go to the gym, don't make eye contact with anyone.
Yeah, don't go to the gym wherever Tony's at because he'll probably be pissed off at you.
Yeah, what the fuck is this guy doing over here? Dude, there's just so much weird shit. Like, just one more vent about the gym though. But even like, there's like, because the LA Fitness I go to, like where you wash, you'll piss and there's like the first hand washing station is like in front of a mirror. And that mirror right behind you is like the sauna. And now every fucking time I wash my hands in that sink, because I feel like if I walk past that sink, I get judged like, this guy doesn't wash his hands. I'm like, let me just wash them right. It's right here. Because it's usually just some homeless guy shaving his head by the other sinks or something like that. So I'm like,
another reason not to go to the gym.
Yeah. And then there's always some guy that comes out of the shadows and like presses up on the glass, just like looking like a fucking, like a pet up for grabs. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like just the fucking thirsty dudes at the gym.
Thirsty dudes at the gym.
Ladies, I get it.
It's weird.
I get it.
It's gross. Like there's this fucking like phlegm and like no one throws away their like little hand towel thing. It's just it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So again.
So you can find me at LA Fitness on Hollywood or the Universal City one if I bring my kid with me, or at Tony Klein Comedian on Instagram. This has been episode 35 of the Eric and Tony podcast. I'm going to hand it off to my good friend Eric here to plug his handles and all the good shit.
You will not be finding me at any public gym or local gym.
Yet.
Never. And, but you can find me on Instagram at Eric Rustler, is my Instagram handle. You can also go to the ericandtonyshow.com. You can purchase one of these mugs, which apparently one of our friends did. So that should be coming to you soon, Chris Magny.
Hey, Chris Magny. I was talking about you in the rings.
Possibly former or future. I'm sorry.
Future podcast guest
coming
in April.
And then also go to the YouTube channel, Eric and Tony Show, TikTok, and you can check out all the clips. We do 60-second clips throughout the week. Every Monday we launch the full episode on YouTube. Every Monday, and then the full audio episode on Spotify every Monday as well. So you can follow along, get yourself a beer mug, listen to us talk some shit and shoot the shit with each other, and keep yourself up to date on all the current events that are going on in Tony and I's life and other things that we don't know much about, what we like to talk about.
Yeah. So, and if you want to drop us a line and have us talk about something else we don't know about, please, we are open to topics and conversations. I think we have a guest for next week. So
yeah.
We'll talk about aliens.
Leave a spot in the comments, and we'll try to work on saying the word like. I heard that's a thing. That's somebody in the comments said that we do that a lot. We say like a lot, and I watch it, and I was like,
like to give us an alternative word.
I was like, fuck, we do say that word a lot. It is like.
I like.
So it's like I can't fucking watch this. You guys say like every fucking second, and I'm like, See? Can't. It's a tick, man. I don't know. Like and subscribe. That's all I got to say. Peace. We're out.